Did anybody see ya coming to my house last night? Never should've kissed ya, never made that call. Come a little bit closer and look into my eyes. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. Oh, baby, on down to the Xscape beach. Do you want to? Like I want.
See, baby, you're my little secret. If you don't tell, I won't tell.
Xscape, the powerhouse R&B group of the 90s, wasn't just making music, they were making headlines. Behind their chart-topping hits and synchronized harmonies was a storm of betrayals, secrets, and explosive feuds that almost tore them apart at every turn. What if I told you their greatest rival wasn't another girl group, but the very members of Xscape themselves? From public scandals to private betrayals, this is the untold story of a group that couldn't escape their own drama. And trust me, the truth behind their breakup is far more shocking than anyone ever imagined. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just one moment or one betrayal that unraveled Xscape. It was a series of jaw-dropping incidents, each one more dramatic than the last. And by the end of this video, you'll wonder how they ever managed to make music at all. Stay tuned, because this story isn't just about music. It's about the price of success when loyalty is left behind. Xscape didn't just appear out of nowhere. They were forged in the crucible of talent, ambition, and the challenges of being young girls from Atlanta with a dream. Latasha Scott, Tamika Scott, Candy Burris, and Temeka Tiny Cottle weren't polished stars when they started. They were just teenagers rehearsing in high school hallways and local churches. Their origin story is as raw and authentic as their harmonies. The group began as a trio with Candy, Latasha, and Tamika singing gospel in church. Their voices blended so well that people insisted they take their talent beyond the pulpit. When Tiny joined later, they solidified their lineup and began practicing relentlessly, determined to create something different. But they weren't your typical R&B girl group. While the music industry pushed for glamorous, hypersexualized images, Xscape took a radically different approach. Baggy clothes, neutral colors, and a focus on their powerhouse vocals became their signature. This wasn't just a style, it was a statement. They wanted the world to hear them, not just see them. It worked. When their debut single, Just Kickin' It, hit the airwaves, Xscape became an overnight sensation. Their soulful voices and relatable lyrics resonated with audiences across the country. But what fans didn't see was the tension bubbling beneath the surface. Behind the scenes, their manager was already making controversial decisions. One of the group's original members, Tamara, was abruptly forced out because their manager claimed she couldn't sing well enough. The group voted her out, a decision that set a tone for how they'd handle conflict moving forward. Swift, cutthroat, and often divisive. Even as they climbed the charts, Xscape couldn't escape the misconceptions about who they were. Their unconventional look won over fans but drew criticism from peers in the industry. They weren't polished enough, weren't sexy enough, and weren't fitting the mold. The notorious B.I.G. even mocked their appearance in his lyrics, a jab that stuck with them for years. Despite these early challenges, Xscape's debut album, Hummin' Comin' at Cha, was a smash hit, proving that talent could outshine stereotypes. But as we'll see, this success wasn't enough to hold them together. If anything, it only amplified the personal and professional struggles that would follow. And as Xscape's rise continued, the cracks in their foundation would only grow deeper. What happened next would test their loyalty, their friendships, and their very identity as a group. Xscape's rise to fame may have seemed effortless on the surface, but behind the scenes, it was anything but harmonious. Their success brought not only accolades, but also mounting tensions that threatened to pull the group apart. The first major rift emerged when Tamika Scott's pregnancy came to light. The group's manager at the time gave her an ultimatum: terminate the pregnancy or leave the group. It was a shocking moment, forcing Tamika to choose between her personal life and her career. But instead of bowing to pressure, she stood her ground. Her sister, Latasha, vowed to leave the group with her if Tamika was forced out. This rebellion marked one of the first significant power struggles within Xscape, and though Tamika ultimately stayed, the tension lingered. Meanwhile, their public image became another source of contention. While fans adored their baggy clothes and relatable style, the industry wasn't as kind. Xscape faced relentless criticism, especially from their peers. The most cutting blow came from the late notorious B.I.G., who ridiculed their appearance in his track Dreams. Tiny later revealed that Biggie apologized just minutes before his untimely death, but the damage was done. The weight of those words left scars, especially for Latasha, who felt singled out for her body size. Internally, the group dynamics were also shifting. Latasha's powerful voice often made her the de facto lead, a decision driven by producers but not always welcomed by the other members. Candy, in particular, found herself at odds with this arrangement, sparking a subtle rivalry that simmered under the surface. Then there was the management drama. After Tamika's pregnancy ultimatum, the group's manager left, only to be replaced by Ian Burke, and later by Rocky Bivens, Latasha's boyfriend turned husband. This decision to bring in a romantic partner as manager created a clear bias, further straining the group's unity. Despite these challenges, Xscape managed to release their second album, Off the Hook, in 1995. It was another commercial success, solidifying their place as R&B icons. But the cracks were widening. Publicly, they were on top of the world. Privately, they were barely holding it together. As the group navigated these turbulent waters, one thing became clear: their success wasn't enough to mask the growing animosity. And the worst was yet to come. When personal relationships and professional decisions collided, Xscape would face a breaking point that no amount of fame could fix. By the time Xscape began working on their third album, Traces of My Lipstick, tensions within the group had reached a boiling point. What had once been subtle rivalries and disagreements had turned into full-blown feuds, threatening to destroy the group from the inside. At the center of the turmoil was Latasha Scott's decision to pursue a solo career. According to Candy, Latasha had made her intentions clear even before the album's recording began, and the rest of the group felt betrayed. Producers began focusing more on Latasha's vocals, further fueling resentment. For Candy, it wasn't just about creative differences. It felt like Latasha was prioritizing her own career over the group's future. But Latasha's solo ambitions weren't the only issue. Candy's brief romantic involvement with producer Jermaine Dupri added another layer of tension. While Candy insisted their relationship was casual, the rest of the group felt it created a conflict of interest. It didn't help that Jermaine was a driving force behind Xscape's music, making his favoritism toward Candy even more apparent. These personal conflicts came to a head during a group meeting that turned into an explosive argument. According to Candy, Latasha began attacking her personally, bringing up issues unrelated to music. What started as a verbal clash quickly escalated into a physical altercation, marking a point of no return for the group. Despite the chaos, Traces of My Lipstick was released in 1998 and became another commercial success. The album produced hits like The Arms of the One Who Loves You and My Little Secret, but the group was falling apart. The growing animosity among the members overshadowed their success, making it impossible to continue working together. Latasha's departure to focus on her solo career officially fractured the group. Candy and Tiny attempted to move forward as a duo called KT, but the venture was short-lived. The two did find success as songwriters, penning the Grammy-winning hit No Scrubs for TLC, but Xscape, as fans, knew it was over. For fans, the breakup seemed sudden, but for the group, it was the inevitable result of years of unresolved conflict and competing priorities. The bonds that had once held them together were now irreparably broken, but the story didn't end there. Reunion attempts, legal battles, and fresh drama would keep Xscape in the spotlight long after their breakup. Xscape's breakup marked the end of an era, but it was only the beginning of a saga filled with failed reunions, legal disputes, and fresh betrayals. While the group members went their separate ways, the shadow of Xscape's legacy loomed large, keeping their name and their drama in the headlines. After the group dissolved, Candy and Tiny found success as songwriters, most notably with TLC's Grammy-winning smash hit No Scrubs. Candy also launched a solo career, releasing her debut album Hey Candy in 2000. Meanwhile, Latasha pursued her solo ambitions but struggled to gain traction. For fans, it seemed like the magic of Xscape had been lost forever. But the group's name would soon become a source of contention. In an attempt to move forward, the remaining members, Tiny, Latasha, and Tamika, wanted to reform Xscape without Candy. They even asked her to sign over her rights to the group's name, a move that Candy reluctantly agreed to. With a new lineup and a new member, Kesha Miles, Xscape tried to reclaim their place in the R&B world, but it wasn't the same. Internal conflicts continued to plague the group. Tiny's relationship with rapper T.I. became a point of tension, as the other members felt he was holding her back. Meanwhile, Latasha's husband, Rocky Bivens, remained deeply involved in the group's management, creating further divisions. These issues ultimately led to yet another breakup, proving that Xscape's struggles weren't just a thing of the past, they were ongoing. The idea of a full reunion seemed impossible. But in 2017, fans were shocked when all 4 original members came together for a performance at the BET Awards. It was their first time on stage together in nearly 2 decades. The success of the performance sparked a reunion tour and a reality series, Xscape, still kicking it. But even with the group back together, old wounds resurfaced. Candy made it clear she had no interest in recording new music with Xscape, citing lingering animosity. Meanwhile, the Scott sisters, Latasha and Tamika, found themselves at odds once again. Despite these challenges, the group released new singles and toured as a trio under the name Xscape, with the E replaced by a 3 to reflect the new lineup. While the trio found some success, the underlying tension remained. Tamika accused Latasha and her husband of stealing her royalty checks, a claim that reignited their feud and played out publicly. Latasha, meanwhile, distanced herself from the group to focus on a solo gospel career, leaving Xscape fractured once again. For fans, the reunions and reformation attempts were bittersweet. They showed glimpses of the group's former glory, but the unresolved drama often overshadowed the music. Xscape's story was far from over, but one thing was clear. Their legacy was as complicated as their relationships. If there's one thing Xscape knows how to do, it's keep fans talking. Over the years, their story has evolved beyond music, spilling into the world of reality TV and social media. With every reunion attempt came new drama, proving that while their voices could harmonize perfectly, their personal lives were anything but in sync. In 2021, Xscape faced off against another iconic 90s R&B group, SWV, in a versus battle. The event reignited interest in both groups and showcased Xscape's enduring popularity. However, the spotlight also brought their ongoing tensions to the surface. Fans noticed the unspoken distance between certain members, fueling speculation about unresolved conflicts. The drama didn't end there. In 2022, the group was honored with the Lady of Soul Award at the Soul Train Awards. What should have been a celebratory moment quickly turned into another controversy. Latasha's metallic dress stood out starkly from the coordinated looks of the other members, sparking rumors that she intentionally tried to outshine them. Latasha claimed she didn't get the memo about the dress code, but Candy fired back, stating that Latasha had chosen to work with a separate stylist. The fallout played out publicly on Instagram, with both sides digging in their heels. By 2023, Xscape returned to reality TV with SWV and Xscape, the Queens of R&B, a series that documented their personal and professional struggles. The show explored the possibility of a joint tour with SWV, but also exposed deep rifts within Xscape. Latasha, who had already distanced herself from the group, found herself at the center of fresh accusations. Her sister Tamika alleged that Latasha and her husband had stolen her royalty checks, leading to a dramatic confrontation. Latasha's focus on her solo gospel career only added to the divide. She chose to skip Xscape's tour dates, leaving Candy, Tiny, and Tamika to perform as a trio, while the remaining members kept the group's legacy alive on stage. Latasha's absence was a glaring reminder of the unresolved tensions that had plagued Xscape from the start. Through it all, Xscape managed to maintain their fan base, thanks in part to their willingness to embrace the drama and share their lives with the public. But for those hoping for a full-fledged reunion, the question remains: can the group ever truly move past their differences, or is the conflict too deeply rooted to resolve? Xscape's story is as much about resilience as it is about turmoil. Despite decades of infighting, breakups, and betrayals, they've managed to maintain their place as R&B icons. Their harmonies, unforgettable hits, and raw talent have left an indelible mark on the music industry, but their legacy is undeniably complicated. For fans, Xscape represents more than just music. They're a reminder of the power of perseverance. Their songs like Just Kicking It and My Little Secret continue to resonate with audiences, serving as a soundtrack to a generation. Yet the group's inability to fully reconcile has become just as much a part of their story as their chart-topping hits. Latasha's departure to focus on gospel music has left a noticeable gap in the group's dynamic. While Candy, Tiny, and Tamika continue to perform as a trio, the absence of all four original members is a constant reminder of the unresolved wounds that have defined their journey. Even their reunions, though celebrated by fans, often feel fleeting, temporary ceasefires in a long-running battle. But perhaps that's part of what makes Xscape's story so compelling. Their struggles are relatable in a way that their music is universal. They've shown that success doesn't erase personal challenges, and that even the strongest bonds can be tested by fame, fortune, and ambition. As the group navigates their future, one thing is clear: Xscape's impact on R&B is undeniable, but their legacy will always be intertwined with the drama that surrounded them. The question now is whether they can finally find peace and focus on what brought them together in the first place: the music. In the end, Xscape's story is a testament to the highs and lows of chasing a dream. They've shown that even when harmony falters off stage, it can still live on in the music. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most important thing of all. Xscape's story is one of triumph and turmoil, a roller coaster ride of success and struggle that has captivated fans for decades. They've proven that their music can stand the test of time, but their relationships remain as fragile as ever. From their humble beginnings in Atlanta to their meteoric rise as R&B royalty, Xscape's journey is a reminder of the price of fame. Their ability to deliver chart-topping hits while navigating personal betrayals and public drama is a testament to their resilience, but it's also a cautionary tale. So, what's next for Xscape? Can they finally find harmony beyond the music, or are their differences too deep to reconcile? For now, their legacy remains as complex as their history. And perhaps that's what keeps fans so invested. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Xscape's story is one of redemption waiting to happen? Or is it simply the reality of fame tearing friendships apart? Either way, one thing is certain: Xscape's music will always live on, even if their relationships remain unresolved. And that's a legacy worth celebrating.